So this is the reality of club racing. The brand hatch the other day, the car started to develop a rattle from underneath, and I can see what's happened. You can see where it's worn through the heat protector around the exhaust, and that was actually slid further down, so it was actually knocking the direct metal contact between the exhaust pipe and this cross piece. So I've loosened this off again and I'm going to bolt it up. So this is all last minute prep before I go to Silverstone tomorrow. I've done this several times and I'm going to have to find a more permanent solution, because I keep bodging around this issue, like wrapping it with the heat protector and, you know, unbolting it and bolting it back up, but the problem keeps coming back. So I'm going to have to find a better solution to this. Okay, so here we are at Silverstone. I was a bit late arriving, so I've missed my first session. But there are 3 more to go, 3 more 40-minute sessions, I think. So I'll crack on with those. Lovely cars in the garage with me. I think this is a Formula 3 car. Very nice. And there was another one which I think is out at the moment. But yeah, we're ready to go. This is something I've never seen at a track when we've been on the track, and that's supercars. There's quite a few of them here. I think they're the next session out, actually. I wouldn't say it's that cold today, but Silverstone comes with its own mini snowdrifts. Okay, so I made a few stupid mistakes yesterday at Silverstone. I didn't check the card in the front-facing camera, so I only have recording of the first session, and for some reason the rear camera didn't start in the first session. But anyway, we'll piece together, and it could be a bit boring just watching me go around. But here's Joe. Doing his manoeuvre down the inside at Copse. That's terrific. He said to me he just kept his foot in when he slid sideways, and you'll see he recovers really quickly and he comes past me again as we're coming down to Beckett's. There he is. I got chatting to him afterwards, and he's done a season same as I have. His car seems really quick. I'm not quite sure where he was in the standings in his particular championship, but yeah, really good. Lots of very fast cars. As you saw in the opening clip, there were things like prototypes, LMP type cars on the road, really powerful GT3 type cars like the Mercedes. Yes, the approach speed was just phenomenal, and I'll show you a bit on that later. So you notice I've got a sticker on, or I've stuck something on the dash. This is to try and stop me racing when I'm doing these tests, because what I should be doing is practicing lines, vision and braking. That's what it said on that piece of paper. Vision, lines and braking, I think it had it in that order. And I was getting to grips with the vision, although vision here at Copse, because it's a very late apex and it's past the end of the barrier, you can't really see it. So I was getting it though. I found that early on in the session I was turning in too early, I was braking too early, I was braking much later in the final sessions. You can see I'm looking across there. You'd have to look in the mirror to see me doing this, but I was looking across at the apex of Beckett's, and I was doing that much earlier as we went through the sessions. And I tried to stop myself racing, although in the afternoon I was following a little Lotus sports car, probably early 1960s. I'm not sure, quite sure of the model. It was very fast down the straights, but he was on tiny little skinny tyres, so when it came to the corners, I made a mistake there, didn't I? When it came to the corners, I was coming, in fact at one point I went round, tried to get round the outside of Luffield, which we've just gone round there. I tried to get round the outside of it, but in the end I thought, this is ridiculous, this isn't doing what, and this is what happens, I get drawn into these things. So I thought, this is ridiculous, I've got to stop this. So I then went back to my piece of paper. There go the fast cars past me. Went back to my piece of paper and tried to just focus on those points that I was trying to cover. I'm not quite sure what the fastest time one was that I did. I did see, I think I saw a 1:17 something, and last year in the race my fastest lap was a 1:17.50 something, I think it was. So I reckon I'm faster, which is good news, whether it be the car or my driving or whatever. But I seem to have picked up a bit of speed because I really, and I know it's easy for me to say this, but I wasn't trying to go fast in this. Even when I was racing the little Lotus, it wasn't possible to get in a really fast lap. And a lot of this was happening because the speed of the cars was so different. You found that whenever you came to a corner, there'd be someone up the inside of you and going much faster. And okay, I could have chopped across in front of them, but you've got to feel some level of responsibility. And I did have people chop in front of me, actually, especially coming down to Cops. There was a guy in I think it was a Radical, and he just slammed right across in front of me and then hit the brakes, and it was a bit heart-stopping moment. This is a little MGB that was going around. That was a nicely prepared car, really good. Anyway, I'm rambling on. Out of all of this, it was a really successful day. The car just is great. It just was faultless, and I kept checking it for leaks and everything, and it just performed really well. Unlike me, when I forgot my torque wrench, so when it came to checking the wheel studs, I had to just use my calibrated arm. I did remember the tyre gauge this time, which I forgot at Brands Hatch, but luckily I was with the 40/40 guys, so I borrowed theirs. But yeah, I mean, tyre pressure gauge is absolutely essential. So I'll just close out with a few other bits and pieces. Looks like we got the final session in just in time. I guess you can see the rain on the windscreen, and it's starting to get, it looks as though it's going to start to get very slippery out there. The last session was ended on a red flag, so we had 2 red flags in that session. One for the Porsche that went backwards round Beckett's and back across and into the barrier, and then a car broke down on coming into Brooklyn, so I'm not quite sure what was wrong with that. So all I've got to do now is pack up and go home. Okay, that's it. It's all packed back in the trailer. It was quite hard work, but it was pretty straightforward. It's really good, this trailer. I love it.